Welcome to the eCommerce Badassery Podcast, the place for scrappy female entrepreneurs who want to learn actionable steps and strategies to grow the traffic, sales, and profit in your e-commerce business. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster, a 20-year retail veteran who spent 3 years as the only employee of a 7-figure online store. That shit was crazy. I know exactly how it feels to do all the things, and I'm sharing everything I learned the hard way so you don't have to. I may have started this business by accident, but supporting badass bosses like you lights me the fuck up, and I am so stoked to see you grow. Are you ready, babe? Let's roll. Welcome back to the eCommerce Badassery Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster. I'm super excited for today's episode because I feel like it's been a while since I've done an in-depth step-by-step strategy episode. And while I talk pretty generally about doing launches in our e-commerce businesses, and I've even talked about it with guests on the show, I've never really covered the process A to Z on the podcast, so I thought it was about that time. If this is the first time you've heard me talk about launches in your e-commerce business, first I gotta ask, where have you been? But in all seriousness, creating an event around your latest product collection or even your latest promotion is a surefire way to drum up excitement and increase your overall sales results. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me preface this by saying, if you're new to business, if this is your first time doing a launch, if you haven't proven product market fit yet, this is not going to revolutionize your business overnight. And if you try this process and it doesn't work the first time, that doesn't mean it's never going to work. With every launch you do in your business, you'll gain data that you can use to improve your next launch. You'll streamline your process. You'll start to train your customers to expect this type of event. You'll start expanding your reach by layering in Facebook ads to cold audiences. There are so many little tweaks and updates you can make over time that I just want to make sure you don't give up too soon. And if you're listening to this in real time, now is a great time to start getting comfortable with this process so that by the time Q4 rolls around, you've got a decent system down and you can implement this for your Black Friday promotions. So when it comes to creating a launch event, whether you're talking about a new product, a new collection, or just a promotion, there are 4 main steps you're going to follow to implement this strategy. First, you're going to build a list of potential customers who are interested in your specific offer. Next, you're going to breadcrumb, tease, and nurture that audience up until launch day to get them super excited and ready to buy. Third, you'll give those initially interested people early access to get their hands on your offer before everyone else so they feel special. And then lastly, you'll open up access to the general public to get as many eyes on your product or promotion as possible. Now, throughout this podcast, I'm going to give you a lot of ideas of what you can do at each step in the process. I'm going to reference tools you can use, other podcast episodes where you can dive deeper into specific topics. But remember that you don't necessarily have to do all the things in your first go-around, not even in your 10th go-around. Here on the podcast, I do my best to paint broad strokes and talk about big ideas so that I can support as many of you as possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it exactly as I describe here. Instead, take from it what you feel you can reasonably do today. Then bookmark this episode and come back to listen to it when you're ready to launch again. Continue to iterate and improve over time, and don't be afraid to tweak things to make it your own along the way. All right, so let's break this down step by step. Now, before you can do anything, you need to know what you're promoting, when you're promoting it, who you're promoting it to, and why they would care about it. Once you have that nailed down, it will be a lot easier to map out your launch plan and create content and assets that will entice your customers to convert. So let's talk through these a little bit. The what. This is pretty self-explanatory, but you want to be clear on what you're offering. Try and avoid launching a bunch of different items that have no relation to one another because it will be hard to talk about them in a group. It can be as simple as a new seasonal collection, but be mindful of the perception from the customer's point of view. The who. I'm sure you've heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. If you're trying to talk to everyone, you are talking to no one. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to hyper segment your audience. That can actually have the opposite effect you're trying to create. But you do want to be clear about who you're talking to and why they're going to care about what you have to offer. The thing is, you always need to understand that. That's fundamental to every business. But for launches, I do find it super helpful to articulate the specifics for this particular case. This is going to help you tremendously when it comes to your copywriting. People buy with emotion, so you want to make sure you're speaking to those emotions. When you're thinking about your timeline, be sure that you're giving yourself at least 7 to 14 days to promote the launch before it's actually live. If you don't give yourself any runway, then it completely defeats the purpose and you might as well just stop right now. Now you'll need to decide how you're going to promote this. At a minimum, you'll want to promote it on your website, use email or SMS, and organic social media. But are you going to do Facebook ads? Will you partner with influencers, or how about PR coverage? Once you know all the different ways you're going to be getting eyeballs on your offer, you can start to build the assets that you need. At a minimum, you'll want a landing page and a sign-up form to collect those interested prospects and build that initial warm list. You'll need graphics, content, and copy to promote your offers in all of the places. And don't forget, you'll actually need to get the products added to your website or some specific collections created. Honestly, I've seen people forget this because they're so wrapped up in all the other details. And I may or may not have forgotten to create a collection or two in my day, but don't tell. Let's talk about your landing page. This is a simple landing page that gives a bit of detail about what's coming, when the customer can expect for it to be available, any perks they get by being on the list, and of course, a form for them to sign up. Make sure the most important information is above the fold, and depending on how much information you need to share about the event, you can put more than one form on the page. If you're using a tool like Klaviyo, I would create an embedded form, and then you can paste that code into multiple places on the page. So maybe you have one on the top, one in the middle, and one on the bottom. You'll also want to make sure you have an automated email that goes out after they sign up that reiterates the information you shared. Now they know they're really on the list, and you have their email to keep them engaged during the pre-launch phase, and we'll talk about how to do that in a few. So now you've got your landing page, your sign-up form, and your welcome email. But how do you actually get them on your list? Well, let's go back to the how you're going to promote this. At a minimum, you're going to use all of your organic channels, including your existing email lists. Yes, you want to encourage your existing email list to sign up for the special VIP or pre-launch list. The reason being that you want them to make this micro conversion saying, yes, I want to hear more about this thing you're releasing. When you do this, you're essentially getting permission from them to email them more about this particular launch. And that's the ultimate goal, no matter which channels you're using to grow this pre-launch list. I can't go into every last detail here on the podcast in terms of all the different ways to grow your list. That would make for a crazy long episode. But I do have a workshop coming up where we'll go even deeper into this entire process and strategy. So make sure you stay tuned until the end to hear more about that. All right, so you've got your list all set up and you know what channels you're going to use to promote the list. But now you actually have to create the content to get them excited and on the list. The type of content you're going to create is going to depend a bit on your product industry, bandwidth, skill set, but let's run through some quick ideas to get those creative juices flowing. One of the easiest and a customer fave is behind the scenes and sneak peeks. This is especially powerful if you're a maker. Record yourself going through the design and creation process. You can reveal small details about your new collection, like the colors or styles. If you're doing a photo shoot specifically for this launch, show the behind the scenes of the photo shoot itself. You can also do polls and questionnaires. Have them vote on their favorite products or have them pick their favorite colors. Bring them into the process with you. As you get closer to launch day, don't be afraid to reveal more and more about your products. You can even do a full product reveal and/or walkthrough. This is especially helpful if choosing the right product takes some thought on the consumer's end. Maybe you have a few different styles that all have different features, or maybe your products are best suited to a specific skill level, or maybe you just have limited units of everything and you want to encourage them to make their buying decisions before the cart actually opens. That's the main reason why I say don't be afraid to reveal it all. This way, they're so enamored with your product, they have so much FOMO by the time launch day comes, they can't help but get their hands on your stuff. Remember, leading up to launch day, no matter what type of content you create, your main call to action is for people to get on the pre-launch list. And a few more quick notes about content and list building. Don't forget to mix up your content types. People consume content in different ways, so you can do static image posts, live videos, reels, carousel, stories, emails, the works. Remember to speak to the emotional reason behind why they would want to buy your product. Check out episode 69 to hear more about how to create content that converts. Also, as you get more comfortable with this process, consider using a tool like ManyChat to grow your email list for your launches. ManyChat is an Instagram-approved tool that lets you collect people's email addresses without them ever having to leave the platform, which we know is really hard to do. I had the founder and CEO Mike on the show where we talk through how you can use the tool to grow your email list. It's episode 109 if you want to take a listen. And if you want to try the tool, check out my affiliate link in the description of this episode because it gets you a special deal. And then lastly, if you struggle with creating content in general, especially Reels content, make sure you check out episode 103 with Harley Jordan, where we talk about creating Reels and working with influencers. One of my clients mentioned that she almost skipped over this episode when it was first released because she thought it wasn't really going to be for her. But she said she actually had one of the biggest aha moments about creating Reels that cleared out a lot of anxiety and overwhelm around it. So it's definitely worth a listen. All right, so you've got the list building process under control. What comes next? Now it's all about mapping out your email marketing strategy. The number one piece of advice I can give you here is to send a lot of fucking emails. Seriously, more emails than you think you should. If you strategize it right, you can send an email every single day of your launch event. And at busy times like Black Friday, you can send 2 a day. Just because you're sending an email every day doesn't mean that everyone is getting an email every day. With segmentation and removing people who already took the action you wanted them to take, you can easily avoid annoying people. But it's super important that you are not afraid to shout your message from the rooftops. If you're going live, email people to remind them. If you do a full reveal video on social, send them an email and point it out to them. If you're getting a lot of the same questions, send out an FAQ email. The trick is to make it valuable to your subscriber, to overcome their objections, and ultimately get them to buy. Let's run through a quick cadence for the week of your launch. We'll pretend you're opening the cart to your VIPs on Wednesday night and giving them 24 hours before it opens to the public. On Monday, you're going to send an email to your VIP list reminding them that the collection will be available for purchase on Wednesday. Give them the exact time with time zones. You'll also send an email to the rest of the list letting them know that this is their last chance to get on the VIP list, and those who are on the list will get access to the goods on Wednesday evening. Then on Tuesday, you'll send an email to your VIP list sharing the most popular products based on your customers' feedback so far. You could also do staff faves here. Essentially, you want to email them letting them know what is expected to be the best sellers, and you can link them to any supporting content you've created throughout the pre-launch period, such as any walkthrough videos you created, guides you created on Instagram, etc. On Wednesday morning, or about 6 to 8 hours before the product is available, you'll send an email to your VIP list reminding them that the collection product or promotion is launching soon and to watch their inbox for the link. On Wednesday evening, you'll email the VIP list so they can shop. On Thursday, or about 6 hours before the VIP early access is ending, you'll email everyone on the VIP list who hasn't yet made a purchase and remind them that their early access is ending. On Thursday morning, or 6 to 8 hours before products are available to the public, you'll email the rest of your list and let them know they'll be able to purchase soon. Include the best sellers so far and any items that might be on their way to being sold out. You can also include any supporting content like video walkthroughs, how-tos, etc. When the product collection or promotion is available to the public, you'll email the rest of your list to let them know. On Friday, you'll resend the launch email to anyone who didn't click or engage the original launch email, including your VIP people. Invite them to ask questions if they have them, remind them that you're here to help them find the perfect item for them, and encourage them to reach out to you. They need permission. On Saturday, you'll email everyone who hasn't purchased so far and update them on what's trending, what's sold out. You can share any feedback, reviews, or testimonials people have shared about the collection. Sure, they may not have the product in hand just yet, but if they've commented how much they love something, how perfect it would be for X, if they've expressed their obsession with your product, share that with the rest of your audience. On Sunday, you'll resend Saturday's email to anyone who didn't click the email the first time. If you're creating a launch event for a promotion, don't forget to include some last chance emails. I usually like to do 2 on the last day of the sale, 1 in the morning and 1 at night. And think, that's just launch week. It doesn't even include the teasing and engagement from when they signed up for the VIP list to when the card actually opens. Now, of course, if you have a really small list, you don't have to send so many emails, and you shouldn't. But the larger your list is, the more emails you can send. So, you made it through your launch. What's next? The last step in the process is to analyze your results. And my favorite way to do this is with a campaign recap. You can learn more about my process for recapping my marketing campaigns in episode 87 of the podcast, but to give you a little glimpse, it's essentially a document that I fill out after every campaign that I do. This gives me one central place to keep all of my data, so when it comes time to plan the next campaign, I can easily reference my results from the past, what worked and what didn't, and can inform my decisions moving forward. In addition to the podcast episodes I've mentioned so far, there are 2 others that will be really helpful if you want to start implementing this strategy in your business. Episode number 20, The Power of the Pre-Launch and Thriving in a Crowded Market with Jessica Principe of All Girl Shave Club. And episode 54, Smashing Glass Ceilings and Growing Through Social Media with Megan Tayez of Glass Ladder & Co. I'll put links in the show notes to those and of all the episodes I mentioned today. Oh, and I almost forgot. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, yes, I want to do this in my business, or maybe you have been doing it, but you want to refine your process a bit, I have a free workshop starting May 23rd, where I'll be diving deeper into this process with you so you can plan your next product launch. Nicole Dietrich, our resident Facebook ad strategist, will be hosting the workshop alongside of me, and she has an entire training dedicated to teaching you how to use Facebook ads for your product launches. If you want to sign up for that, head to ecommercebadassery.com/conversion to register. I hope to see you there. And that, my friend, is a wrap for today's episode. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I hope you got a shit ton of value and have a better idea of how you can implement the launch process in your e-commerce business. Don't forget to check the show notes for all the links mentioned today, including access to the full transcript of this if you find it easier to refer back to a written version. Have a kick-ass rest of your day, and I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking to surround yourself with more product entrepreneurs who totally get your life right now, get your booty on over to the eCommerce Badassery Facebook group. Can't wait to see you there. Until next time, e-commerce friends, stay badass.